Hi, I'm Kat, and today I'm showing you how to make this miniature microwave out of wood scraps and a little bit of plastic packaging. I hope you guys enjoy the video. So if you're making this for a Barbie, you can use extra jumbo popsicle sticks, but in my case I'm using 1/12 scale as usual, so I'm just going to use jumbo popsicle stick scraps, coffee stir stick scraps, and popsicle stick scraps. Starting with the jumbo popsicle stick, I cut off the tip so I had a 1-inch piece. Do that 2 times and build trays by using 4 additional pieces of coffee stir sticks that you cut into trapezoids and glue in place at an angle. This way you have 2 little trays. I left the side of one of them open, and that's because originally I planned to put a light bulb in. I changed my mind because it was going to take a little too much time, and I ended up closing in that open angle later. For now, go on ahead and cut off those additional pieces of coffee stir sticks so they're about half the size that they originally were. Then, I used 2-inch pieces of jumbo popsicle sticks, and I made 8 of these total, glued into groups of 2. Make a small frame out of 3 of them, and put the 4th one to the side for later. In the meantime, you can cut additional jumbo popsicle sticks as walls. You're going to need 1 on either end, and 1 in the center behind the trays. You can take this time and use a needle tool or a scalpel to cut in any sort of details that you would like for the sides or the back or the front of your microwave in case you plan to make this a countertop one. I'm going to make mine into a stovetop one that's going to hang above the stove. And then you can also use that 4th piece that you made earlier and place that at the bottom, gluing it in place as just extra support. And then glue your trays in place. 1 at the very back against the wall, and 1 at the top against the ceiling. Then glue your additional wall right there at the end of the trays, and then your final wall at the other end of the microwave. You can use popsicle sticks to fill in the top portion and the side portion. Next, I use silicone caulk, and this is just to fill in any of the little blank spaces in the back. You can use wood putty, but I decided against using wood putty simply because the wood putty is a little granular, and if you place that on the back of the microwave, you're not going to really have a good way of sanding it out. So I decided to use the wood putty, that way it will smooth out with a Q-tip. Use a couple of coats of white paint to go all over the inside of the microwave, and you can go ahead and add a gloss to this at this point if you'd like as well. Then I made a small door out of coffee stir sticks, and I actually made 2 of these shapes even though I don't show them, and glued a piece of plastic packaging to the back of one using E6000. Then I painted the rest of the assembly black. I didn't worry too much about the back or about filling in the seams because, as I said before, this is an over-the-stove microwave and these parts won't be seen. Then flip the microwave over and trace the front. Cut that out and use it as a template for your front design. Then you can use a pen or pencil to sketch out the design you'd like and cut that particular piece out as well. Try it on the microwave to make sure that it fits. And then flip it so that it's face down onto the backwards piece of some aluminum tape. And this is aluminum bond tape. I've used this in a houseplants video as well as the ice cream parlor video. But if you're to look up aluminum tape on eBay, you will find it pretty easily. So then I trace the shape onto the back of the aluminum tape. And as I've said before in previous videos, this aluminum tape is adhesive back. So you simply peel off the paper and it will stick in place. It is pretty easy to bend or curve or wrinkle, as is regular aluminum, so be very careful about when you peel off the paper to make sure you're pressing the aluminum as you're peeling off the paper, and that way you're limiting the amounts of creases that you put in. And while this step is optional, it does add a bit of extra oomph to your microwave, and that is, I love to cover any of my plastic with a little bit of resin. So I'm using some resin that's been tinted slightly with metallic black paint, and then 5 or 6 drops of resin on one side will do fine. Spread that all the way around. And then on the back, I added on the other frame, and then I took a permanent marker and I drew a small rectangle around the outside of the back of the plastic packaging. Then I used a small coffee stir stick that I cut in half, and then I bent it ever so slightly so that it would fit on the side as a handle. Glue that in place using super glue for a fast hold. And then paint everything black as well as give any touch-ups at this point. You can use a 1-inch hole punch to punch out a small circle out of additional pieces of plastic packaging. And although I don't show this step, I use the ball tool to emboss it so that the ends curve upward. Then I glued it at the bottom of the microwave. I place the door in place, and then I used a hand drill to place a hole on either end. Use 2 small stick pins and cut off the pointy tip, and then feed one into either side, and then cut off the head. Use wood putty to fill in the hole, and then paint to cover the wood putty. Then you can use some paint to add on a control panel, and in this case I'm using silver and metallic white, as well as a bright blue for the clock, and then glaze the entire assembly that's going to be facing the front. And that's it. You're done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.